Hey everybody, what's going on? My name is Badfish and welcome back to another episode of Gone Gaming, or if you're new here, welcome to an episode of Gone Gaming. Today we are in my island city of Mauna Key, guys, and we're going to be doing a pretty fun build, a little bit different from the past couple of builds we've been doing. So in the past couple, if you haven't seen it yet, we've been working on a little bit of a residential island, right kind of off the side. You might see it in some of the shots as you're watching the time lapse and certainly in the live play. But today we are going to be going through and building out a nice utility plant so all of our sims get water and electricity and all that good stuff. So up until this point, I just had, a couple random, what are they called, windmills up in the hills and a water pump out in the middle of nowhere in the ocean. So today I'm going to be detailing out a full-on water sewage treatment plant as well as a solar farm and just having some fun with it, making some unique stuff to build out, just the utilities. I really like doing utility builds. It's kind of like the backbone or the lifeblood of the city. You can't really move forward without it, both in gameplay terms and in real life terms. So I really enjoy building these out. And the packs I'm using, most of them are going to be from, I believe it's the modular sewage pack from Avanya. I know it's definitely Avanya though, and I got some different clarifiers from a couple of different people who make stuff on the workshop. So the clarifiers are just those big spinning pools of water and things like that. But we're just going to go ahead and just kind of lay everything out right now, kind of build it out and get everything looking the way we want and just make sure we got road connections running on through. But I hope you guys enjoy the build, and I'll be checking in periodically throughout it to talk about some of the stuff I'm doing. But yeah, enjoy. So right now I'm just adding around some, surface painter and like decals and things like that just to make the areas by the clarifiers look a little more beat up, since there's obviously, a lot of foot traffic around them for people to come, check on them and check the mechanics and things like that, and obvious water seepage and things like that. So that's why we have the mud. And then over here, right across, so you're kind of seeing these two little like office buildings almost. These are actually part of that pack from Avanya. I believe these are like the grit and silt area, and then just like a water pumping station, but I'm using them kind of as impromptu office areas for this utility plant. And this is kind of where we're going to have our main parking for, the utility workers and things like that. So I'll put a luncheon area here later. And one cool thing that we're going to be doing with these parking lot roads is I did get the diagonal parking lots. They're a little bit harder to set up, I won't lie to you. I actually had to cut a whole bunch of me kind of messing around with them and things like that to get them to kind of fit the way I wanted to, but I think they ended up looking pretty good, and hopefully when cars start utilizing them it'll look even better. But that is pretty much this little office part. We're going to do a little bit more detailing there later, and now we're just going to move back on to putting more roads out to our clarifiers and kind of throwing down some dirt and some more industrial areas and things like that. So I ended up using these little, they're called, I believe, biogas facilities. Again, these are part of that Avanya pack, but I ended up using them as more of like water tanks and stuff to just kind of have storage right across from the clarifiers. And now is going to come the power part of today's build, and we're going to be putting down a whole bunch of solar panels to kind of make out a really good looking solar bank. Again, this is something I had to fiddle around with quite a bit, so we are going to cut the bulk of me putting these down, but I really just wanted to make sure we got a lot of power in here, and I think we ended up achieving that for sure. So now you're just seeing me move on to more of like the security measures of the utility plant itself. So I wanted to make sure it was rather secure, obviously, where it's your power supply as well as your water supply. You don't want people to be able to get in there too easily. So I put a guardhouse down. You guys saw me just put down that whole bunch of barbed wire and the fencing, and just making like this guard post a little bit more detailed by adding some bollards and a police car and just a guard right there. So just trying to make it look a little more involved and putting some like CCTV security cameras just kind of spread throughout the entire property. And I did try putting down some dirt and stuff kind of under the power plant there, but you saw me not really enjoying that, so I took that right out. And now we're going to move on to working on this kind of industrial part of this build. So I wanted to have a really nice little industrial area over through here as it applies to the water pumps and this little parking lot that I'm going to start building out now. So in my head, this little dirt parking lot here is more or less where the electric company is. So I got these sim-electric trucks. So they're a bunch of like different, electrical trucks that you'd see going around tending to electrical lines and things like that. So this is kind of where the people servicing the solar panels are and servicing, the different power infrastructure is. And you saw me put down some construction stuff over there. More or less, I was just thinking of that as, kind of if roads need maintenance and things like that. They got that big pile of asphalt back there in the utility plant. So now I'm just going to do some light landscaping just to kind of, kind of frame the utility plant a little bit more. I don't obviously want a bunch of shrubbery and stuff growing inside of it. Definitely not by the solar panels, because you want those to be able to get sun, so you don't want any trees growing. And I really just didn't want a lot of overgrowth affecting any of the other stuff I got going on. So I'll fill in a couple little areas just kind of near the roads, but near the actual machinery and the actual plant itself, I'm trying to keep that pretty open. And now basically we're going to be starting the majority of our propping and things like that. So I wanted to make this a really industrial area. I wanted like different tankers coming through where, this is supplying water. So, maybe they have tankers go out to more remote parts or anything like that. I don't know. I just wanted to have some trucks and like different barrels and stuff hanging around. We're going to put like some workers down and things like that. Really, this is just to fill the space with more things to look at. Like none of them are functional. None of them are even moving. And I actually, when I first started playing City Skylines, I was very much against using static props or static people. Things that move, basically, like static cars and things like that. But as I kind of got better at detailing, I realized there's just a lot of potential there to add a lot to your space. And for the most part, you're not staring at one area of the map for too long, especially like when you're building and things like that. So it doesn't really break your immersion unless you're like scrolled in staring at them. But I believe from afar, which is the way I play City Skylines, I'm kind of bird's eye viewing my city. I think it ends up looking really good. So we got a lot of these people kind of scooting around here. We got dudes who are repainting the buildings. We got guys who are checking the trucks, and just a bunch of people running around doing different things. And then this is kind of on the other end of that office area I had mentioned. We had this big kind of blank canvas of concrete here, and I wanted to do something with it. So I decided to kind of put a little outdoor lunch area for the utility workers and things like that. I can almost guarantee you in real life you will never find a really nice lunch area like this in a utility plant, but you know, this is my utopia, so here we go. We're building some cool places for people to eat lunch. So we're just gonna kind of pop in some tables and stuff here, make it look real nice, and kind of go from there. So now we're going to start finishing off the build with just adding some more random kind of industrial props and workers around, and we will be doing some lighting as well as one last little bit of detail, which is going to be kind of like a road crew and stuff that you guys will see, but that's towards the end, so I'm going to kind of let the music play out at that point. But what you're seeing me do now is just try to get this place lit up as well as I can. It doesn't obviously have to be super, super bright, but I wanted the areas that are going to see a lot of traffic and, you know, close to the buildings, I wanted those as lit up as I could have them be. Just because where this is, you know, an important plant for the city of Mauna Key, you want to make sure that it is operable at night. So that was kind of the plan there. But really, like I said, we're going to finish up the build now by just adding some nice little details and decals and things like that, and then finishing off with one last little bit of build. And then we'll jump into the live play section so you guys can see the build in a little more detail and a little bit more slowly, because I know the time lapse goes by pretty fast. But if you guys have been enjoying the video so far, definitely leave a like down below. It helps get the video out to more people and helps get the channel out to more people, so I super appreciate that. And if you're new to the channel, definitely subscribe if you want to see some more City Skylines stuff. So I'm going to let the music play out, guys, and I will see you on the live play in just a moment. Thanks. Hey everybody, welcome to a beautiful morning in Mauna Key, and welcome to the live play section of today's build. So I hope you guys enjoyed the time lapse. Let's jump into it. So we have our utility plant here right off the city of Pearl Beach, which is right over here. So we got this utility plant coming right down the side. I will connect it to the highway eventually. I just kind of ran out of time during the build, but we'll probably just do a simple little interchange right over here into the highway. It's kind of a pain in the butt considering like how tight this highway is right next to each other. I'm trying to get exits to go around. As you can see, they haven't ended up too pretty. But anyway, the build today, we got a couple different buildings and stuff from Avanya. So a lot of different, I think like this whole pack, they have Avanya has a modular like water and sewage pack that comes with these cool like pump buildings and silt buildings and things like that. So I use those as kind of like the main offices for the utility plant. And of course we have all of our clarifiers and things down here. Got the kind of bays of water getting, I don't actually know what these do. I should probably look that up. I want to say it might be desalination, but anyway, got the pools of water there, got the sewage clarifiers over here, just some different worker props right in front of it just to kind of add a little more to the space and a little more detail. Of course, we got this fence kind of running the whole perimeter, so we got this cool barbed wire fence to keep out people who might be trying to poison the watering hole. My favorite part whenever I've done utility plants is I love building canals into them and kind of having a setup for the pumps like that. I think it ends up looking really nice both from the coast and from when you're kind of like over here on the outside. So that looks pretty good, and we got just more utility props going through it so more people packing, you know, barrels away and using these oil trucks and things kind of as water trucks. Over here, like I said, I'm using these as like our main offices, so I decided to put like a little lunch area right in front of this building here, kind of ignoring the fact that, you know, trucks are supposed to go in and out of there. We're just going to pretend they're small trucks, but we got this nice little lunch area that I could actually probably move forward a little bit later on, so that's a little more realistic. And back of here, just a little more added detail. I've done this a bunch before in other builds, just added a little work area, so they're digging up some concrete over here, got some debris and stuff, and they're just working on that. Again, just adds a little more to catch your eye as you're going through. Then we got more clarifiers over here, some different like tanks. This is like a biogas facility, but I'm using it kind of as water tanks and stuff like that. So we got those going along the side with the big construction lights, which I'll show you what it looks like at nighttime in just a minute, because you guys saw me put down all those lights. Then of course we have our gigantic solar bank over here, which looks really nice. It, like when you go on the power interface, it is developing a lot of power. Look at that. So we got a good amount of power coming from our little solar farm over here, so I'm happy with that too. And then finally, just to kind of round things out, I put all of our like electrical trucks over here and just some different storage for different things over here. And this is like a concrete asphalt pile, so you know, for the people doing road work and stuff, they can go out of here too and use that for utilities. But overall, you know, I think it looks really nice. You know, it takes up a good chunk of this part of the map. So we got our little starter town over here, and then we got our big utility plant kind of just hugging the side. So I think it looks pretty good. Let me know what you guys think. Oh, one last detail, we do gotta just look at the entrance. So just a quick little entrance for you. I got the gates running right up to it, got these big poles coming down, some CCTV cameras and all the works right there. That's the last little bit of detail. And while I'm saying that, let's put concrete in there. Great. So yeah, that's the build, guys. I really do hope you enjoyed it. I know I definitely enjoyed making it. So if you're new to the channel, heads up, I got a bunch of different builds and videos on the channel, so check them out and subscribe if you enjoy them. I really appreciate that. Trying to work up to that 1,000 mark someday. And if you enjoyed today's video, definitely leave a like. That helps me grow the channel as well, and I really appreciate that too. But again, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm Badfish. That's going to do it for Gone Gaming, and I'm going to leave you with some cinematic shots, but I'll see you in the next one. Peace.